I believe with that countdown, we are live. Good afternoon, Final Fantasy Randomizer. We have a Pod C race today, Darkmoon EX versus Krelen, here in our winter tournament. My name is Wout, and joining me in the booth for the first time, second time overall, we have Kylio13. How you doing, Kylio?
I'm doing really good. I'm hyped to see a good race and just some good old, typical FFR shenanigans.
Yeah, we've got some interesting blursings going on here. I believe we have Forced Thief and Black Mage, so if you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about what we've got going on in the blursing department.
So that Thief is going to be feeling really good with that plus 10 MDef and plus 20 Strength. Got a Malice of -5 Luck, but it's on the Thief, so I don't think you really feel that too hard. And on the Black Mage side, we've got a Resist to All plus 40 HP. And then the Malice is going to be -150 GP right out the gate.
Yeah. I mean, that free ribbon on the Black Mage is nice, though, because that means if you just find, like, a really good cap, you can just throw it on the Black Mage and be done with it. Yeah, so our Red Mage, because I see Darkmoon is opting for a Thief Rainbow today, is coming packing in Viz 2 in that 8th level spot, has some extra hit percent, so they can actually contribute on melee, but they're going to be missing out on heal 3. Which, that can be an issue. Our White Mage, on the other hand, is a Wood Adept today, so they can strap on Wood Armor, Shield, and Helmet, and get some bonus evade. They also get some extra MP at level 1. And then our Malice on the White Mage today is going to be -10 Vitality. We may or may not see someone bother with a Fighter. Fighters get bonus damage against dragons. They can throw on shirts, but they get a -20 strength, which not great if you have a fighter.
Yeah, I feel like with that Malice there, that's pretty much gonna in my head, I'd be like, well, rip fighter.
Yeah, Black Belt. We are not going to be seeing those at the gate. We are using the vanilla flags for this pod phase of the tournament. But if they find a Black Belt in passing, we are going to see resistance to, I believe, time, ice, and poison. Black Belts can also equip gauntlets and helmets, and they start with -15 HP. Oh no. And we appear to be having some technical difficulties going on, so we may be joining in Media Res. Alright, well, we at least have Darkmoon going, so we'll catch up with Krelen in a minute. But alright. But yeah, so right out the gate, we are going to be getting some good old insta-kills, and some very insta-kill. That Holy is Fade. Darkmoon rolling with the more accessible spell names, Fun Percent Flag. So yeah. We'll have to find out what Krelen decided to do. I expect Thief Rainbow, but I may be surprised.
It's been very fortunate that a lot of the prices in these shops have rolled down with that Black Mage Malice, so that's very, very fortunate considering.
Well, Krelen surprises me. There is a fighter out front for his party. I don't know. Fighter, Thief, Red Mage, Black Mage. So
Interesting.
I believe Red Mage. Well, the Red Mage is going to get punched in the face by a horse. So we'll have to wait to find out what spells Krelen picked up on that Red Mage.
And Wooden Shield in the bottom left chest there.
Darkmoon, very happy to see that. That is 1/3 of the kit for that White Mage he brought along. But we do have Garland coming out here. And this is going to be a quick quaking.
And looks like that free AoE caster item is the Zeus Gauntlet.
Very nice. That is some
always
free
feels good.
armor as well. And Rod and Canal. So we are off to Provoca, most likely. We do start with a free canoe in these flags, but I think it is very rare that you will see a runner actually opt for going left instead of right.
Yeah, if you've got things really have to line up well to fade Provoca early on.
Yeah, I have actually seen a seed where the stars did align. Both runners still went to Provoca, though. But they could have faded it.
That's true. Looks like we're gonna hold off on checking Matoya's closet with Darkmoon here.
Yeah, you see that a lot with runners because you may pull a crystal out of the pirates, but you could also see like just nothing, and you have wasted your time and steps. But regardless, we are going to go ahead and check these magic shops on Darkmoon's side, and Krelen is going to go kill some pirates.
That exit charge is gonna feel real nice. Sitting in that level 2.
Yeah. Krelen, unfortunately, not having Fade, gonna have to be resorting to using all these instant kills. But on Darkmoon's side, we do see we are going to have Lit 3 available here, as well as Exit, actually, from White Magic, which is very nice to see.
And that's the Adamant coming out of Captain Bick.
Mm-hmm. So, here is the question for you, Kylea. Do you double back to turn in that Adamant, or do you just continue around the southern continent to Crescent Lake?
I would consider double backing, especially because a lot like I always like to get Marsh Cave done as quick as I can because it always seems to goon me. So I just want to go and just get that out of there.
That is a completely valid play. With that exit in hand, Ice Cave is on the cusp of viable. Because we've got Fade, we have that Zeus Gauntlet, we have Exit to get out, and we have Lit 3.
I think the Ice Cave is more viable on Darkmoon's party setup. I think with the fighter on Krelen's side, I don't think you went with that reduced strength to walk into ice.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is I think Krelen has brought that fighter along mostly as a meat shield, and it did look like there was some decent equipment there in Provoca. But both runners deciding, you know what, I would rather not leave a turn-in hanging, especially by going to the other end of the continent, so we are going to get this Adamant turn-in from both of them.
Not to mention, since it's the Adamant, not the TNT, it's not as long of a walk. So you might feel like it's better to go to Crescent Lake if you have to walk further without the key.
Darkmoon? Okay, so anyway, Darkmoon just decided that he didn't feel like turning in the Adamant. That's for losers. Krelen, though, does remember that he has a shiny stone, and that's why he went this way, so we do get an Oxyale out of the smith.
I mean, if you end up picking up a ship on Krelen's side, that allows you to just get out of the inner sea and then get a lot of checks down.
Oh yeah, no, like that's the thing is if this is the ship here in Marsh Cave, Krelen is at least halfway to go mode. He'll at least have his fiends queued up. So that's a good segue, actually. So for folks who have seen previous randomizer tournaments for Final Fantasy I and are wondering what's the twist on this one, we are using a flag that was recently added that allows you to get into the final dungeon with less than 4 orbs. Basically, over the course of the tournament, the requirements will change. Right now, we are playing with 2 orbs any, meaning that any 2 fiend kills is sufficient to open the final dungeon. So with that Oxyale in hand, once Krelen has a ship, he can get to Carrie, and he can get to Kraken, and that's good enough to get to Temple of Fiends. But that is a roost stick out of one of the easy-to-check chests in Marsh Cave.
Yeah, it's a nice roost stick, and that gold bracelet +3. That's going to feel nice, too.
Oh yeah, no, they are set on defense for a while.
Zombie D spike tile?
Ooh, that is tasty.
Especially
Like
with how the thief rolled.
we may see Darkmoon just go ahead and burn through his fades and then exit.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the play there. We've got a Ruby coming out of Marsh Cave, so even more just get... Where's that boat?
So at this point, the boat is either from the Sages or an ice cave, because it has to be somewhere on the inner sea. Now, we could see a situation where either a vendor item in Elfland or whatever we get from one of those other two locations sends us on a fetch quest to get the ship, but eventually either a vendor item or one of our two incentive checks will, or our incentive ice cave or the sages will hand over our boat.
Now, would it be a possibility? I don't know if it would actually be like able to set up this way, but if there's like a floater sitting in there, then could the ship be out of the inner sea, or does it never work that way?
The ship will be in the inner sea, but I believe that it can be locked by something that you need the floater to go get.
Gotcha.
Don't quote me on that, though. Placement logic in Final Fantasy I Randomizer has changed a lot over the years, so I may be thinking with like a brain from 2020.
That makes sense. We got Lock 2 for level 3 Black Magic, which is going to be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I lock the lock spells are what I like to call the poor man's fast. If you don't have fast, you can usually lock your way through a highly evasive enemy. All right, ADR Adam Drup chiming in to let us know that we are using the logic where they will be the ship and the canal are forced to the inner sea. But again, I'm not sure if we also if they can be locked behind something that is not on the inner sea. But regardless, we do have fast and warp and life. So I always like to say that the first 4 levels are kind of the most important for Magic, because those are the ones you're going to have plenty of charges to play with, and I'd say we have a pretty solid level first 4 levels, even for White Magic, which is not often what happens.
Yeah, that's true. And then with all this good magic set up here, it's going to be a nice easier check for Ice Cave, and then maybe even go and knocking out Volcano.
100%. All right, so we're getting more confirmation in chat that they cannot be locked by something outside the inner sea either. So even if we find a floater, we'll know that any other checks will eventually lead to the ship. So we do have 3 more opportunities to find progression. To find that progression, though. Our vendor item here in Crescent Lake could lead to the ship. We could get it from the Sages, or it can be an ice cave.
Unless we're going to find out in the vendor shop here real quick.
A slab!
So there's the vendor item, but it's not the ship. All right, so 50-50 shot. Sage or Ice Cave, what are you thinking?
I'm feeling Ice Cave. And that might just be because I really want to see the to see if either one runner forgets that Provoke is where the ship turns up if you find it in Ice Cave. But we get TNT, so this could lead back to ship at Dwarf Cave, but we'll see what Darkmoon does with it. Excuse me. So, let's see here. Just to kind of recap what we also saw in the Magic Shop, we do have Harm 4, Life 2, and Ruse for White Mages, and all of those are going to be Red Wizard learnable too, that's nice. And then Temper, Fire 2, and Quad X are over in Black Magic, with Temper also being Red Wizard available, so... looks like Darkmoon is heading for Ice Cave, though, so... With that warp in hand, this is a relatively easy check.
But even with that warp, do you still go to try to check the extra chests? or do you just go for the quick key check and then bounce out of there?
If I'm Krelen, I dig a little bit deeper. I've got that exit on that. I've got that exit on my red mage. And I found some good stuff. Krellen gonna get some experience. I think this means he is gonna head to Ice Cave as well. With both a fighter and a thief, Krellen needs some gear. Darkmoon having just the thief and with a guaranteed Vorpal and an incentive location. Probably thinking, you know, I don't really need to dig for stuff. I can just go.
I'm gonna mage shake, and there's that ship.
Yep. Alright. So we know the TNT. Hopefully the TNT gets Darkmoon to remember he never turned in the rock.
And that, I was thinking the only reason that he maybe didn't turn in the adamant was it's always nice just to have them both at the same time to turn them in together.
Yeah, but when you don't have the ship yet, that it makes that a little more dicey a proposition. But Darkman is going to go ahead and check some of these boxes here. I believe some of these are our better trap treasure boxes, which is a flag that makes it so that your chests can be more basically chests that are guarded by these forced encounters. Some of them are more likely to have better loot in them. Not all of them, but some of them. But Krellen opting to go ahead and turn in the TNT. We'll see what this turns into.
Alright. Got the herb from the TNT turn in.
Yeah, that does raise the question, though, Kylio. Would you like to do a fetch quest? It doesn't have to be a fetch quest.
For me personally, if I had the things lined up to go on and do a fetch quest, I would like to just go ahead and get those out of the way so then I can just focus on levels and focus on dungeon diving.
Okay. Bye. You're supposed to finish the song lyrics. That's how this works.
Oh, I totally missed that.
And Krellen is rewarded for cowardice. There is the floater. I mean, the good news for DM is he's not going to be floaterless very long. Like, unless he decides to go do Volcano right now, which would be a very strange choice, but an understandable one. DM, what are you doing?
Metal slime grind.
Darkmoon, you are in Ice Cave. This is not the time to be killing off party members, especially the two party members that can cast Exit.
It'll be fine. No worries. Pay no attention to those airship noises coming on from the other side.
Krellen doing a thing that I often forget to do and checking on Sarda. And there is our key. So, I mentioned before that our fiends represent half of our go mode. For folks who are unfamiliar with Final Fantasy I or Final Fantasy I Randomizer, to get into the final dungeon, you require two other key items. The key and the loot. The loot is by design. The key is just like... It's weird that there's a door that is locked by the key, because in the vanilla game, you cannot get into the final dungeon without having found the key. But regardless, in the randomizer, you do need both the key and the loot in order to get into the final dungeon under vanilla flags. And yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with Darkmoon getting some levels. I just question the decision to like put his mages that can cast Exit in the getting blasted. Well, okay, never mind. It just clicked in my head that Cyphus is black mage, so his white mage is protected. Never mind, all criticism of Darkmoon has ended.
For now.
For now. There'll be more. Yeah, so Darkmoon is rocking a Castlevania-themed sprite set that I believe is of his own design, so
okay.
I do tend to forget that his white mage is Maria.
And Krellen being able to take care of just a lot more things in Inner Sea. He's got that crystal. He can do key checks here, so he's able to just kind of get all this wrapped up, and then can focus on the Outer Sea.
And there's our loot. Krellen is effectively in go mode.
Yeah, absolutely. The main thing he's going to need are levels, and so it's going to be it's a nice little contrast that we're getting between these two runs.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how these flags roll. Is like, you gain the ability to beat the game very quickly, but then you run into the problem of, do I have the power to beat the game? And that's going to be Krellen's big obstacle right now is levels, but also gear. I don't believe we've seen any weapons on Krellen's side. So, like, that fighter and that thief are kind of just there to get punched in the face. But we need something that they can swing, because the Black Mage and the Red Mage are do not have the firepower to get through the late game.
Especially if either like one of the later Fiends or Chaos are packing a Cure 4, you're going to definitely need something to just try to outblast that.
Yeah, and we do not have Masamunes on in this particular flag set. So we do have guaranteed Vorpal. That's going to require a class change. And, oh, look at that! Darkmoon is down to a thief and has no way of casting Exit. An Ice Cave. If only someone brave and handsome had immediately realized that this could pose a difficulty.
All right, we'll see if we'll be able to run on out of there. But considering it's a thief, I think he'll have no problem.
Yeah. We did at least find a +1 ice armor on Krellen's side and a giant sword. Okay, well, his thief is also now poisoned. And it doesn't look like he... Does he have Pures?
He had 1.
Okay, then. So Darkmoon not getting to loot everything else, but does escape into the wilderness. So now he begins the trek back around to Dwarf Cave. We'll see if he remembers he has to go to Provoca to get his ship.
If he does, he'll be able to rest his other party members right there, which will be nice.
Yep, alright, he does remember. So the way, for folks who are curious, the way the randomizer decides where to put the ship is it is based on the closest inner sea dock on a non-randomized, like on a non-modified map. So, you know, in the randomizer, we almost always have on a flag that connects the rivers between Provoca and Crescent Lake. But, you know, that's not vanilla. So, the randomizer basically just assumes, like, the least amount of there are no map edits, and that's how it places the ship. So, the ship found the ice cave will go back to Provoca. And if you find the ship outside the inner sea, it defaults to Canaria. So. But,
right, Darkmoon picking up some cures after that little scary poison encounter right there before heading out of ice.
Yep, and Krelen already heading into Earth Cave. Gonna go ahead and check these encounter tiles, see if he can find a good grind.
Well,
Nightmares are not a good grind.
Oh,
but there is the eye. Excuse me.
It's so sad seeing that fighter hit for 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, between that penalty and the fact that we just don't have any weapons, like, it's one of those things. Darkmoon is a little bit behind at the moment, having stopped to do that grind. But the thing is just with 3 mages, he's in a lot better position to, like, clear through things and find the weapon that he needs for that thief.
I'm sure. Let's see.
Phil Collins, I think Krelen was swinging the giant sword. The fighter started with minus 20 strength. Which, if I'm not mistaken, means the fighter started with, like, 5 strength.
Yeah, not much to shake a sword at.
So, yeah, so that is the issue there, is Krelen's fighter just has limp noodle arms. Maybe Krelen did not put the giant sword on. I definitely saw him look at the giant sword. Yeah, fair enough. But we do at least get to see the Melman shops, and that is going to give us Fire 3 and Cure 3. And we do, we do know where the slab is, but we're almost certainly not going to see it unless one of these runners goes Vorpal hunting. In the meantime, though, Darkmoon doing a lot of the checks we already saw on Krelen's side. Krelen, actually, now that I think about it, probably not going to go to Ice Cave, because he should be able to deduce at this point that the ship is there. And thus he does not need it.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. And there wasn't really any particular good gear, as far as we know, that came out of Ice either, right?
I don't think so, but it's oftentimes hard to spot when you find stuff, or when one runner finds stuff, because the boxes clear very quickly, and we're watching 2 screens.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like Darkmoon is going back for his slab as well.
So I think the slab is still a good pickup, considering the Fanny and Superstore is on.
Good point.
If you get that promotion, then you'll be able to just go in and get all your magics right there in one spot.
Yeah, that is an excellent point. I forget about that flag. But, so, yeah. Darkmoon is doing something, but so it'll be interesting to see where he goes, because he may opt to just go ahead and clear out Volcano. He's already got a decent chunk of the firepower, and he is going right past Volcano.
Yeah, I would have assumed the Volcano Call too is picking up or doing key checks.
Ooh, yeah, and this is an incentive location. I believe this gave us the crystal, and the crystal gave us something. What did we get from the crystal?
I'm trying to remember.
Loot! Thank you, Sunflash.
Yep, thank you.
Shout out to Sunflash Rune, who is not only restreaming this race, but also tracking it.
So how far do we think Krelen's going to take this eye grind?
Let's see here. Probably far enough to get at least some level 6 spell charges. So probably mid-20s, maybe no higher. Krelen may also be wanting to position at least one character to pivot to a black belt, if we find it. And yeah, I just saw Krelen does have a sword equipped on that fighter. Strength matters, folks. Strength matters. But yeah, now I'd be surprised if Krelen takes this much higher than the mid-20s.
All right, let's see what Bahamut is hoarding.
Ooh, there's a defense sword, +1. If we class change, which we're almost certainly going to class change, and don't find either Katana or the Vorpal, that defense sword could probably get us through.
And then we've got the defense sword and the Roo Stick.
Yeah. Yeah, so like you put the defense sword on your ninja, you put your Roo Stick on, say, your black mage, or your red mage or your white mage. You put it on someone who can do good work. And yeah, Sunflash also calling out, we did see +3 fire armor. So there's your ninja gear, at least until you can find something better.
And Darkmoon's still on a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Getting that crown from the fairy.
Well, this is good for Darkmoon, because Krelen didn't do any of this. So yeah, Krelen will probably go back and do Bahamut's cave once he checks the tail, or once he finds the tail. The problem, of course, will be if the tail is at the end of this fetch quest chain, which, let's see here. We still have Lefane to check, we still have the waterfall to check, and we still have Astos to check. One of those has to be the tail, one of those has to be a ribbon. The cube is still out there, and Ordeals has our last item. So, anything but the cube, Darkmoon is hoping to find at the back of this, because he's already got 3 Fiend dungeons accessible, so he doesn't really need to go into Sky.
I don't know. I would think doing Volcano in Sky gives you a good chunk of the chest you need.
Well, maybe if Darkmoon didn't find the defense sword and the fire armor, well, +5 ribbon, holy!
Yeah, you don't need it on the black mage.
Yeah, okay. Well, the white mage is set for armor. Okay, so Darkmoon probably happy to see that. That was probably in 3rd place though, because he definitely wants that tail, and almost certainly wants that Vorpal. And he's just going to go ahead and head on to Lefane.
It looks like Krelen, even after he's got that thief down, but is still getting that XP through. So maybe looking to replace the fighter?
That would be the only reason I can think to do this, or you want enough, like trying to out-level the fighter's strength penalty. Would be the only other thing I could think of here. Which is a risky proposition. I
mean, I guess it'd be like a worst-case scenario.
Well, there's that Vorpal, and it rolled up. So we're probably about to see an Ordeals play at a Darkmoon. Like, he is going to check Ordeals, and he's going to check Waterfall if Ordeals doesn't give up the tail. Oh, it was +5? Okay, yeah, no, Darkmoon is going to turn the world over looking for the tail.
Yeah, and that's going to allow him to just breeze up, just like tear through these dungeons, especially like Earth and Volcano, bing bang boom, go go go.
Yeah, so this is the thing that's possibly going to kill Krelen here, is levels are good, but you still need gear. So he's still going to need to open boxes. He's still going to need to hunt down like what he needs to be able to actually like use the stats that his levels give him to finish the game. And as a consequence of that, he may miss that Vorpal. He spent a lot of time grinding on these eyes. If he goes to Cardia and finds that fetch chain, he may decide, I don't have time for a fetch quest. I just need to go, go, go.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then, like, when you reach an eye grind, there's always that, how far do I take this? Or, there's that, have I walked away too early? That a katana coming out of...
I was looking at Krelen's side, getting an idea of how much damage that fighter is doing with a giant sword, and the answer is double digits.
And Sunflash confirms +4 katana out of the top chest there in Ordeals.
Ooh. So, I think in this case you put the katana on your ninja and let the red mage wield the Vorpal. Or red wizard. I think Sunflash. I think the katana does beat the Vorpal, just because if it's a +4 katana versus a +5 Vorpal, your base attack with the katana is just so much higher than the Vorpal that the little bit of extra crit just doesn't make up the difference. So yeah, I think in this situation, if you're Darkmoon, that Vorpal is getting handed off to the Red Wizard when you get the tail, which you know where it is now because that was a cube out of Ordeals. You slap the katana on your ninja, and you just Cuisinart the rest of the seed.
Yeah, because Krelen's going to be praying for a saber bonk at this point, just in past.
Or a black belt.
That too, yeah, black belt or a saber bonk, or best case scenario, somehow magically getting both.
Yeah, so the only reason that Krelen may be in trouble going that route. So, to explain to folks who have missed who haven't seen any of the other races in this tournament, we have two flags on. There are two flags that matter here. The first is recruitment after fiends. So, after every fiend, there is an NPC that has been added to the randomizer that you can recruit. They'll replace, like, you talk to them, a menu pops up, you can choose to replace one of your already existing party members with a character of a different class. The other flag that matters is you can select which classes are available through recruitment. There's another ribbon. And so the black belt is an option, but the black belt is a tri-state, meaning that there's a coin toss when the seed is rolled as to whether or not black belt is even possible. And then you have to get a black belt in one of the 4 locations that will have a recruit.
And Tails coming out of Waterfall, so that means we're going promotion and then dungeon diving from Darkmoon's side.
Yep. And the fact he's not swinging into Sea Shrine, I think Darkmoon is thinking, I'm just going to do Earth, Volcano, and call it a day. But he might be thinking he'll go back for Sea Shrine after promoting. Like, Sea is a fairly fast dungeon. If you're just going in to kill the Fiend and not planning to open any boxes.
Yeah, and with things going as kind of smoothly as they have for Darkmoon, you have to think, how smooth is it possibly also going for Krelen? So you have to kind of determine how much time you're going to want to take and which dungeon you choose.
Yeah. I mean, DM does at least have the knowledge that, like, he had to dig around to find some of that gear. And he knows that Krelen cannot have a black belt, so, you know, he may panic if, say, he kills Carrie and there's a black belt standing there. But, even then, I feel like he should be in good shape.
And Darkmoon picking up the Life 2 charges just as a nice backup there.
Oh, yeah. Did he also grab Temper on that red mage?
I did not see.
Yeah. Well, we'll pay attention for that. But yeah, so because yeah, that Temper was also red mage learnable, which is very convenient. So now he gets to go and rearrange his gear and actually gear up his ninja. I'm gonna go ahead and slap the ribbon on for violence purposes.
Krelen is done with his grind, bringing his people back, and then we got to see where he's gonna go from here.
All right. And yeah, as I expected, Vorpal goes on the red mage, Katana goes on the ninja, and as a reminder, the red mage did start with plus 10 hit percent today. So that red mage actually probably going to get some mileage out of that Vorpal. So yeah, at this point, we're just waiting to see what DM is going to do, and it looks like... I was going to say it looks like we're going to get a Volcano play, but instead, Darkmoon is going to go...
He's double checking all his shop gear.
Armor shopping, okay. Okay. He's going back for these gold +3 bracelets. Okay, so Darkmoon making sure his party is squared away on the defense side.
Yep, and Krelen now checking Carrie's armory here.
I was about to say, Darkmoon, you forgot to actually equip your Black Mage. Okay, there we go. Alright. So, now we're going to Volcano? We're going to Volcano. Okay.
Yep. And probably not checking anything further. Just gonna, probably just beeline for Carrie, you think?
He might poke his head in to check a couple of the easy-to-access chests on Agama floor. Maybe. He may even just opt out of that. He's got all the power he needs now. He's got, like... Yeah, he's got more than enough offense to clear this seed, I think. Question in chat, what level did Krelen get to? I'm not sure. I would have to guess probably high 20s, early 30s. Just based on the time it took to do that grind, knowing how slow the fighter was swinging. We'll see when we get a chance to... Alright, there we go. So, judging by that HP after running through, yeah, I'd wager probably 32, 33. High enough to where if he does find a black belt, Krelen can just tag it out.
And Darkmoon just fading any of the chest checks and diving right over to Carrie. And here we go, Carrie fight.
That probably is... I'm actually not sure what the bat represents in the Castlevania set. Like, I'm guessing that's supposed to be Alucard, but I'm not sure how Darkmoon classifies Alucard. Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
You missed it. Carrie's down.
Yeah.
And Darkmoon now diving Earth. Fast charges coming out on Krelen's sides for that fighter. 8 hits and 147 damage.
Yeah. The lack of strength and and the lack of bonus is just killing Krelen right now. Like I said, that's kind of the issue, right? That's kind of why I wouldn't have brought the fighter. Just because you can get all of the physical offense you need on the ninja, and the ninja, like, your thief can give you all of the outs the fighter can. And has a couple of in-game, it has at least one in-game chaos fighting option the fighter doesn't in that katana.
Yeah, and if you're not having enough damage output just for carry one, that feels real scary just going into, even just walking into Topher.
Wait, was he wielding a silver sword -3 instead of the giant sword? Like, yeah, like even vanilla silver sword is inferior to the giant sword. It's just, you know, a go-to option in vanilla because you can buy it. But yeah, the giant sword, I believe, has like a 2 or 3 point attack edge on the silver and comparable like kit bonus and crit chance. But Darkmoon about to give us a view of the other character, and that looks like that is another black mage, probably. Well, no, so is that his white? Yeah, I think that looked like that was Sypha on the map.
And on Krelen's side, on the first floors of Earth here, but his thief is down. So he's really only got that fighter for damage output.
Yeah, and the thing is he pumped all of those levels into the fighter. So, like... Yeah, so that's 2 orbs now for Darkmoon, the Earth and the Fire Orb. We are in... He may be gearing up to go ahead and give Topher a go.
Yeah, mine as well. I mean, he may not have like the saber bonk or anything, but I think he's got more than enough firepower.
Yeah, no, I'm apt to agree. I think the big thing for Darkmoon right now is levels. And I mean, he got that thief up to level 20. And I think most of his mages, he ground them up to the mid to high teens. And he's picked up some levels since then, so we're probably looking at a ninja somewhere around 23 or 24. And the rest of his party, if not at 20, then close to it. So, definitely a risky Topher, because we are looking at scaling of, I believe, bosses at 80% to 180% of vanilla stats, and then enemies are 80 to 190%.
Right.
Ooh, oh, okay. No, Darkmoon doing a Topher grind. I like this.
Yeah, I was just about to mention maybe he might just be checking what the Topher grind will be like.
If we have the worms off of reset, that's genuinely all you need.
And Krelen now fighting speed bump here. 4 hits, 55 damage coming from that fighter. Now the fast coming off onto him is lock 2. Eight hits, 117. Yeah.
Yeah, the giant sword is passable, but it's still not... It's not an in-game weapon. Like, we are likely to see Krelen also opt... Like, Krelen at this point might realize that there's no choice but to make that, that dive. Or to make that dive through the fetch quests. Like, he knows there's a Vorpal out there, and that Vorpal is out at this point. Like, I'd almost argue a -3 Vorpal might even be preferable to the giant sword just because of those crits.
That and the levels that he took the time to put into it.
Yeah, too. So... But Krelen is at least going to begin that line of fetch quests that will at least drag him over to Lefane, to get the Vorpal. So this is a little bit of a slow grind on Darkmoon's part, but that worms are so valuable, this is still probably the most efficient thing he has available.
And that on top of the Frost Ds, that's decent experience. And then he's got exit charges, he's got houses. That's just a real easy reset and go.
Yeah. And yeah, as chat was pointing out, like, Darkmoon really doesn't have any nuke safety yet. Nuke being non-elemental, the only real defense you have against that is literally magic defense. And magic defense can only do so much. Really, the only way to be properly safe from nuke is to know you can survive a max roll. And Nuke's max roll is 400. So when we talk about a party being nuke safe, we're talking about everyone having over 400 HP, which we're not going to see everyone get over 400 HP. Black Mage's HP growth is garbage. We did start with extra health on the Black Mage, so it's going to be able to survive. But... Darkmoon presumably is mostly looking to get either that white mage or the red mage over the 400 hump, so that if a nuke pops out, there's a chance of being able to pick the party up after the fact.
Yeah, and so with the blessings on the black mage, it does, it did say resist all. Does that just all elements, and that does not include non-elemental? Is that correct?
Correct. Because there's no flag to resist non-elemental damage.
Gotcha.
Because it doesn't have an element. So yeah, so it's just one of those things where the black mage can't resist nuke except through magic defense. But yeah, the extra HP that the black mage got, like I was saying, that could be enough to make it safe to go around. Nuke,
Krelen taking out Astos to pick up that ribbon,
which is very convenient because I don't. Krelen is probably going to go to Waterfall at some point, so he is going to at least get the ribbon that was there. But having two ribbons is much better than having one, especially because you do have that red mage as your only source of life. But Darkmoon, feeling pretty good with his levels, gonna go ahead and make the plunge. If I had to guess, probably the red mage is close to 400, if not over the line, and that's probably good enough for Darkmoon.
Yeah, and I can understand kind of going in now, especially because you don't know what point the other runner is at, so you kind of have to assume, at the very best, they're right on par with you. So you want to definitely try to at least get the edge out as however you can.
Yeah. I mean, Darkmoon at least has the advantage of knowing he had to dig around for power. So, and he knows that there aren't any black belts in the 2 easy dungeons. So he at least knows that, Krelen probably is having to jump through a similar set of hoops to what DM did. Yeah, Krelen trying to remember the proper place to land. I think with this flag set, it is not uncommon to just come to Onrak via the boat. So it's understandable that it sometimes takes a moment to shift gears and go, right, I can land the airship in the usual place.
Right. And Lich 2 fight, here we go. Let's see how long it takes to get through speed bump number 2.
Going for some dang strats. Quake goes off, does not do any good. Thunder comes out. I'm gonna be honest, I would have just swung with the red mage. You've got that Vorpal, the red mage has a 2-hit bonus.
Hey, took some cake. Down it went.
Yep. Or maybe Darkmoon just wanted to meme on Lich. Whatever. I expect that once we get a little bit deeper into the dungeon, we're going to see at least some Vorpal swinging out of the red mage just because resource conservation, but yeah, so Krelen picking up the tail. I assume that he also grabbed the ribbon. Because there's no reason not to open boxes here in
I didn't see him open boxes there.
Okay, well that's a little bit unfortunate. I mean, he still should be fine.
We'll be able to double check when we see his armor again.
Yeah.
And so, carry 2 down.
Yeah, as is Darkmoon's red mage, but that is fine. He has an unnecessarily large amount of life spells to go around.
Even saving that life 2 for now, and just opting in for the life 1 and heal 3s.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Yeah, it looks like that red mage is sitting at about 380 max HP. So...
Alright, let's see if Kraken 2 does Kraken 2 things.
Almost certainly will. It is the way of Kraken 2. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get a haste and a temper on this thief. Ooh. Who barely survives getting punched in the face. Invis 2 and Ruse go up. Honestly, I would go ahead and burn a haste on the red mage. Just go ahead and start setting that up in case the thief goes down before you can patch up the damage. Because this, even with 4 stacks of invisibility, well, okay, that heal 3 did a lot of work just now.
10 hits, 91 damage.
Mm-hmm. Quad X coming out of Kraken. Thankfully, that Thief is wearing a ribbon.
Calamari, anybody?
Yeah, ADR pointing out in chat, the Thief does have an agility bonus at the gate. So that does actually make him a lot more evasive than the ordinary bear. But we are... Okay, we are now at the point where Darkmoon is like, I'm just going to tuck you in the back. Thief swings for 5 for 200. I don't even know if a crit landed there. And there's the nuke.
And looking at Krelen's armor there, he did not pick up that ribbon in Waterfall.
Alright. Well, White Mage goes down, but we still have a living Red Mage. And the Black Mage managed to survive the nuke. So, right now, Darkmoon just really needs this Red Mage to live. Going to go ahead and just keep dumping Thunders into Tiamat. And Black Mage takes the punch for the Red Mage, and we are through.
Alrighty.
DM, you may unclinch.
And Krelen isn't over.
Alright. So, yeah, Darkmoon just going to go ahead, pick up the Red Mage and the Thief. Probably just going to use the Life 2 shots on the Red Mage before fighting Chaos. Darkmoon? Darkmoon?
Or he's just going to keep him down.
Darkmoon?
Either forgetting he had Life 2 charges or being really cheeky about this play.
If he dies here, he's never going to hear the end of it from me. Even if he lives here, he's going to hear it from me. But
that's an interesting choice for sure. And that fighter is at level 31.
He picked up Life 2 on the Red Mage. No, he didn't. Or did he? Did he just not pick up life on it? Well, we are now into Hold A and Pray mode. Darkmoon looking for an RNG loop, and I think he may have actually found it. That Chaos... Nope, there we go. That Chaos... Definitely, though, not doing anything that Darkmoon doesn't want him to do. Skills and spell. Oh! That's why you picked the party up!
And looks like Black Mage is already down on Krelen's side. Going into Lich 2 fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things. Krelen has a stronger lead character. You know, that fighter now is swinging a Vorpal, which is very convenient. But the rest of the party is a little bit behind the curve.
The rest of the party is not nuke safe, that's for sure.
Oh, definitely not.
That fighter is level, I think 31 is what I last saw from the level up.
Yeah, so Krelen may be able to push through this with the fighter. The big problem he's going to be running into is just like this fighter may have to field Tia and Chaos alone unless Krelen rations his offense well. And Tia 2 may take out the other two. But we'll see. Oh! That's the opposite of good. Well, we're through it. Yeah, so Krelen does only have the one ribbon that we got off of Astos. because that black mage is down, and that black mage was effectively a second ribbon wearer. But I guess Krelen either conserving MP or also doesn't have life on that red wizard.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention to the spells that they have, but now we're gonna see. We're gonna really hope that this fighter tanks the blows from Kraken.
Yeah, Adam, I'm apt to agree that Krelen probably has the better DPS situation. The problem that I think Krelen is going to run into is his support for that knight is not as good as DM support for the Thief Red Mage. So Krelen is going to be spending more time in the actual, like, kind of recovery if a fight goes south. Yes, that's 8 hits for 400. Bane comes out, and we are now in solo knight mode. Yeah, see, that's the issue, is Darkmoon has the better defensive setup. He's got 2 ribbons, he's got a black mage who's alive, who also had levels before he died. So that's kind of the issue at the moment that Krelen's got, is all of his hopes are in that knight. And this Topher is just stiff enough to where that knight may not be enough. Also, ADR, you can't have cursed Krelen. This happened 10 minutes ago. We are on stream delay.
And Darkmoon now looking to make some more calamari here.
Yep, he's got a full party still, and is taking measures to protect the one who hits the hardest. Learned his lesson from the last time. Not putting that thief where Kraken can immediately punch him. But we are going to go ahead and get haste out. We're going to get Invis 2 up. Darkmoon presumably accepting that black mage is probably going to need a life 2 after this, but he got plenty of life 2 shots off.
And Krelen now exiting Topher.
Yeah, no, I don't blame him. I grind. Yeah, no, it's one of those things, like I said, that knight is not going to be able to do this alone. You need the other characters to at least live long enough to get you to chaos. Like that, the knight can probably take chaos alone, but you have to get there. Meanwhile, chat is arguing over whether or not curses are non-temporal, and all I will say on the subject is you can argue that with your local occultists, okay?
See your local tarot card dealer.
Exactly. I am not local to you, most likely, so you can't argue it with me.
And this Tia 2 putting up a good old fight.
Yep, but we should almost be through it, based on what we saw last time. Like, this should be the next to last round, if not the last, which it is. Okay.
Yep, there it is.
I think the knight can push through solo, Phil. Like, if you can get the knight past Tia 2, I think the knight has enough in the tank to beat Chaos. Between the HP pool, the ribbon, knight still does have, yeah, the Vorpal, and the knight still does have pretty good M defense gain. Like, fighter still gets 3% M defense, which, is not ideal, but it'll take the edge off a lot of stuff. So.
And on Darkmoon's side, we've got defense strats all coming out here. We've got the Invis, we've got the haste, we've got the ruse. Gearing up to lay the smackdown.
Yep, and I think we just saw confirmation. Darkmoon never picked up life 2 on that red mage. Which explains why he kept his party down. Yeah. So I'm instead going to yell at him about that.
Way to turn it around.
He went into Crescent Lake after class changing. There is no reason that red mage didn't know life too.
10 hits, 1084 damage coming out of that thief.
And Chaos misses the red mage. This is almost certainly a GG. Crack comes out. Everyone lives.
There comes the Inferno.
That's gonna kill someone.
And GG, Darkmoon takes out Chaos.
That is a termination with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 25 seconds. And that is Darkmoon barging into chat. Mod abuse!
What? I'm allowed
GG Darkmoon.
GG, Darkmoon.
Thank you. Okay, so you had I was watching the last little bit. In my head, Red Mage gets no level 6, so I just don't even bother looking. So, yes, you're right. If I'd had the level 6 life on the Red Mage, it would have been lovely. Would have saved me a dive.
Okay,
But,
Darkmoon.
yes,
Red Mage literally learns all but one slot of, or Red Wizard literally learns all but one slot of level 6 white magic. It's worth checking if you have a Red Mage.
I'm so not used to taking a Red Mage. Most of my parties at this point are white-black because of the white mage harm. This is the first time I've taken Rainbow, and I don't even know how long, honestly.
Fair enough. Alright, so... Alright, so let's talk strategy.
Sure.
So what was your strategy behind not turning in the adamant the first time you walked into Dwarf Cave?
That's bad memory. That's all that was. I was like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I have the adamant. Let's go to Dwarf Cave. Let's go turn it in. I got to Dwarf Cave. I checked the 2 chests. I'm like, cool, I'm done here. And I moved on with my life. I'm happy I wasn't punished for it, because if that had been the floater, I would have eaten a lot of time. But this time I wasn't punished when I really should have been. That's all that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
at least you remembered before, like, you know, at least you remembered when you went back for the TNT turn-in.
Yeah. Well, and I was, honestly, I gotta say, like, all the key items fell so early at this point that I was kind of kicking myself for having to go search the world for another 10 minutes for, like, tail and stuff, because with what they gave me between, you know, everything around the Circle C, I could have been done. I could have been heading towards Topher at, what, the 30-minute mark? I wouldn't have felt good about it, but I could have.
Yeah, you could have. Chat was absolutely calling for it, but...
Yeah. No, and I was kicking myself for not being able to, but I'm sitting there going, especially once I hit Ordeals and got the Katana +4 and all that gear out of Bahamut, I'm like, it's a crime not to get the tail to use this.
Okay, let's look at this another way, Darkmoon. If you didn't turn the tail, what the hell was your plan for getting through Temple of Fiends?
I don't know. This is entire. I'm with you on that. This is entirely like.
Yeah,
I don't think that Scimitar +3 would take a lot of temper to get me up to. I would have needed so many levels. The tail was the right call, but it feels bad when you're sitting there going, I could be in go mode right now. Why can't I just go into Topher? But what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah. No. Like. Yeah. No, but I mean that's the beauty of this flag set, is the fact that, like, you hit go mode so early, but then it becomes a game of, how good am I with the stuff I have?
Okay, if I was spell zap, this would have been a 35-minute scene. Let's be clear about that. I recognize this. Yeah. I'm not that good.
All right, Kyleo, you were gonna ask something?
Yeah. So, what was your decision making in taking a grind in Ice Cave and then just leaving it to just a lone thief to escape?
That wasn't supposed to be what happened. The slimes were great. I put the Black Mage up front for him to die, and, like, I was really hoping more than one slime in that 5-pack was going to eat it, so that they wouldn't kill my White Mage afterwards. Like, the Mage Stick had been doing some serious work up to that point, and then the Thief dropped the ball, left almost all the slimes alive. White Mage died, which, on the other hand, that did take the Thief up to level 22, which I wasn't going to necessarily complain about, but then I had to get out solo when what my real plan was after that fight, exit and go wander somewhere else. So,
yeah, I figured, like, once I remembered, oh yeah, Sypha's a black mage. That's
Yep.
Maria who's his white mage.
Mhm.
And realized, oh, his white mage is in the back row. Was like, okay, his plan is to just exit out, get some levels on the back row.
Yep.
And your white mage died.
And my white mage died. Which, I mean, I'd already checked the top because I had warp, so I didn't have to worry about that. And I was done checking tiles, and I didn't really care about treasure. So it was just, oh my god, thief, don't get poisoned or poison stoned or something and die. Just get out of here.
Yeah. Just as a quick aside, because I see a question in chat of, is Randomizer making this easier or harder? Yes.
Oh god.
Yes, that is the
Yeah.
proper answer.
Both. Yeah, it is both. I mean, especially with flags like these, it's both easier and harder. You think a 2-orb flag set would be really easy, and in the right circumstances it kind of is, but then we tweak everything to make it harder, on top of the randomizer making everything both easier and harder at the same time.
No, it's one of those things, the randomizer makes things easier in some ways, like having level 1 fade. But then it does other things, like, you know,
Make you feel overconfident at times.
well, yeah, that and having, like, just nasty things on enemies that are normally just, you know, you walk past them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, like, in the case of this seed, where your ability to actually finish the game requires you to go on a grand tour of every location in the world just to find some rodent's tail.
I could have skipped one location if I took a 50-50 on ordeals versus waterfall.
I mean,
And
it
if
worked out for you.
Yeah, I did. The katana plus floor and another ribbon. Totally gorgeous. Like, that sealed my party at that point. I was great. But if I'd taken the 50-50 and gone waterfall, I wouldn't have been disappointed because the Vorpal plus 5 in the thief's hands would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. So, yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that really cropped up. So, there was speculation in chat. How much cussing came out when you got the floater that you could have picked up straight out of like that TNT pickup?
Oh, well, I still had to go turn the TNT around. Like, I was at what stages when they gave it to me.
Yeah.
So it's either go back around the Marsh Cave way, or just conveniently tie in Ice Cave for a slight off the beaten path move. And it's always my deal because you never know where Floater's going to come from. It's always my plan that when I'm going past and I have the spells to do it, I do Ice Cave. I'm a never Marsh person, but in this flag set, you got to do Marsh if you don't have immediate Floater access. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, Ice Cave is there, it's on the way, I can route it in along my way towards Dwarf Cave. There was no cussing at all. I thought it was just kind of convenient that it all worked out for me in that respect, you know? 'Cause,
Krelen,
I mean, yeah, Floater could have been anywhere, honestly. It didn't have to be behind TNT, you just don't know.
yeah, Krelen
And-
actually did run back and turn the TNT, so he was airborne probably about 5 minutes before you were.
Okay.
I will
happens.
say I was interested to see where things were going to go because both you and Krellen did choose to like take a grind. He found an eye grind in Volcano,
I heard.
or no, Earth. Sorry, Earth, right?
Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, the giant area.
And so like it definitely could have gone either way. But then that fighter malice was just felt so hard.
Yeah, no, and that's why, like, normally my normal party is fighter, thief, and 2 mages, and it just kind of depends on what the mage malices are as to which ones I settle on. But I love fighter, thief in this flag set. The double DPS feels really good when you have the support for it, but that minus 20 strength was a no-go for me. That's a hard pass. I want the damage. So I just figured I would take the extra spell back up instead, which was nice this time around. And lean it all on the thief because that thief can run even with minus 5 luck. He's my guy. I love the thief now. I'm a thief main.
I mean, yeah, no, like, it's one of those things, unless your luck is getting hammered, you're still able to run pretty well with the thief, especially with the agility bonus.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's great. Thief is awesome in this flag set. Thief is honestly just by default awesome in the randomizer at this point. It has to be a really weird flag set for me to not automatically put a thief in my party. That's just how it is. So yeah.
To answer in that question in chat for Jervis. I think I'm saying that right. But yeah, this tourney is still very, very fresh underway.
This is the first week.
Yeah, we still have loads of races to go. Lots of more awesome randomizer content to come out.
Yeah. If you're watching this on VOD or you're lurking and watching this, you can join the Discord. It's on the Final Fantasy Randomizer website. There's probably a link floating around somewhere on this page or in the description if this is on YouTube. There's no notification in public that you joined, so you can just quietly sneak in and lurk and no one will know. And we post every single race gets a special announcement of where it's happening, who's involved, what time, all that good stuff. So
So if your Discord pings are on, you're gonna get lots of them right now.
Well, you're gonna get a lot of notifications. Yeah, I will say I do like having the list of who joins hidden. Not so much because of the lurking, but just because I'm one of those people that will check every channel that has updates. And I don't necessarily care if random noob 23 joins a Discord.
Really selling yourself as an admin, DM.
Totally. I mean, I care as an admin. I don't care as someone that's trying to just read content. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, no. So it is one of those things. Like I don't mention that nearly enough when I'm plugging the Discord, but I know some people do get awkward about joining random Discords because they don't want to be shouted out. But we do actually have that all tucked away in a corner that only the admins and I think a handful of other people can even see. So you can sneak in, observe, and never say a blessed word. But, on that note, I think we should go ahead and start wrapping things up here, because I think we have another race coming in about an hour over on RPG Limit Break.
Oh, what level was Krelen?
Krelen's fighter was in the low 30s.
Wow.
And the rest of the party was I think breaching the 20s.
Wow. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched his fight against Kraken, and that was 2 different fights from what I was seeing. It was just crazy.
Well, it's one of those things. His Black Mage went down before Lich 2, so he didn't even have he didn't have the ability to just pile the tempers on like you did.
Okay, that makes sense. Because that was my opening round every time. Haste temper and then see what happens.
Yeah. So, and just for the record, Krelen declined to come in for an interview. He wanted to go lie down, which is understandable. That was a rough way for the seed to go, and especially with the fighter doing the damage it was doing until he found that Vorpal, it was there was probably far more stress than anyone really needs. So GG's again to Krelen.
Had he had a Saber Bonk, that would have felt a lot different.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, absolutely GG to Krelen as well.
Yeah. So DM, any final thoughts before we go ahead and wrap things up?
Happy to be through this. I got one more race, I think, tomorrow, and then my pods are already done, so I can just volunteer and not have to stress, because, this is stressful.
No, you maniacs are just okay, so we're going to go ahead and decide all 3 of our qualifying round matches, and then we're just going to do them all at the same time.
I just say I'm available. I let people say when they want to do stuff, and then I do stuff. So, and if they all decide to do it the same weekend or the same day, then that's what happens.
Anyway,
I have done them all on the same day before in a row. That was insane.
Yeah, didn't you wind up going 1 and 2 or something with that too?
Yeah. Well, it's because I'm bad at the game. I don't argue that point.
See, I was going to make a comment about seed bleed, but there we are.
No, I'm just bad at the game. That's all it is.
See, that's why I don't race Darkmoon. Everyone thinks I'm actually really good at this game because I talk a lot about it.
You're not an admin, though. There's no expectation for you to be in the tournament.
Even when I was an admin, I never entered the tournaments.
And now you're not an admin. Maybe we know the reason why.
There are a lot of reasons why, but we're not going to go there today. Anyway, so on that note, Kyleo, do you have any final thoughts on your end?
Nothing for me. This is a really interesting seed. I love seeing how the different different party setups and different pathways always go. I'm super stoked for my very first race coming up tomorrow, and it'll be like this will be my first like actual official race at all. Like I've done a bunch of practice stuff on my own, but this is my first tournament and everything. So like I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Who's it against and what time is it?
9 a.m. Eastern against Pickles and Beer.
All right.
Well, you're new.
Just hold on to the fact that I'm new. I heard that pause.
Yeah. The best of luck. I'm not saying you can't. Pickles is really good.
That's what the word on the street. So
Yeah.
but hey, that's how you get into the randomizer, right? You just brute force it through.
That's what a lot of folks have
Sometimes.
done.
Yeah,
And
sometimes it works.
yeah, sometimes it works, but in any case, we'll go ahead and clear on out of here. Let Sunflash, who again, shout out to Sunflash for handling the restream and the tracking, and also being active in chat. Shout outs to Darkmoon and Krelen for putting on a very entertaining race. Make sure to check up on both of their channels. Check them out. And Kylio, it has been a pleasure to be your commentary partner for your second outing. I hope we see a lot more of you.
Oh, I hope to definitely be around more, and I've really enjoyed. I'm enjoying this a whole bunch. So I'll definitely, if I'm not doing the comms, I'll try to be in as many chats as I can.
Don't burn yourself out, but it's always fun. But yeah, so 6:30 tonight, about an hour, over on RPG Limit Break, we will be having another race. Darkmoon, who is it going to be? You probably have that.
It is Ravioli versus Sir Linkalot on the Kefka Pod H. That actually starts a long block of restreaming on RPG Limit Break. We're pretty much going to start at 6:30 and go all the way through with me just restreaming all of it.
Right. Well, we hope to see all of y'all over there. I probably will not be watching because my computer is going to be commandeered for Elden Ring by my partner, but
Yeah.
I might pop in on my phone. Anyway.
My teenager's about to take over my computer, so I totally get it.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Fair
Later,
enough.
guys.
Yeah, y'all take care, everyone.